Hello everybody, we got here a 1v1 between MbL and TheViper, both high level players, both played on 2v2 teams with one another for years now. And let's get right into it. I'm going to speed up a little bit as we go through the Dark Age. Viper in the blue on the west side of the map is playing as the Saracens, and then his enemy in the red, MbL, playing as the Koreans. So what can we expect? Well, I'd love to see MbL going forward with some sort of tower rush. Obviously, the Koreans have such strong tower usage, can really throw the other player off. I know we've all been in those situations where you get hit with the tower rush, there's not really much you can do about it. But when you're someone like the Viper, there's definitely stuff you can do, and of course Saracens, they do have that trade bonus. You can always just trade your way up to the Castle Age and make your way through as quickly as possible. And I think the Viper just killed a boar with the TC by accident, so big mistake there. That obviously will come into play later. He is pushing in deer to try to make that up, but MbL has already started pushing in deer, so there will be a bit of an advantage when it comes to MbL's food count. He still has the second boar in the back of his base, so he should be fine for now, and it looks like we're going to see a drush from MbL. In response, there is no drush as of yet from the Viper, and he's having some trouble with these deer right now. So we'll see exactly what he can do to come back from this big deficit. That is obviously the risk when you do garrison villagers in your town center. Shoot the boar to weaken it. You can also take out the boar with the town center, and when it's taken out by not a villager, it will just rot away, unable to collect. And this little drush probably won't be getting too much damage, if any, just causing some delays with some walls, but not getting out as much as he would expect or hope for, I'm sure, as the Viper is on his way up to feudal age. He is collecting gold. He is going to be going for, well, he might be able to break in here. Oh, nope. The Viper able to wall up appropriately, and I am going to slow it down to regular speed now, as MbL is trying to get some sort of value out of this drush, but it looks like nothing much is going to come because there is already archers that will be coming on the field. 4 on gold, that is the standard when you're looking to build from one archery range, and because of this drush, MbL is slightly slower to the feudal age. But one difference, if you look, MbL just finishing up with his deer, boars, and sheep underneath the town center, whereas Viper has been done for quite a while. Not collecting any food other than from berries, and this one farm just getting started. Berries are here, and already 4 farms out for MbL. But both players now walling up their base where they can. The drush virtually ineffective now that there is an archer on the field, and a market and blacksmith coming up for the Viper. We will likely see him expanding his economy, but looking towards going to the next age fairly shortly. One thing about playing as Saracens, with that bonus 7 on gold, he can buy his way up to the next age fairly quickly, fairly easily. But now we see that MbL is in the feudal age. He is dropping a forward archery range, well, forward of his base. And we will see some sort of aggression. Does take out the archer. That is surprising. There's a good little micro there from the scout, able to get around. And these villagers collecting the gold have really made the difference, as he has been able to buy his way up to the next age. Once Viper is in Castle Age, that is a big advantage that he will have over top of this small army of MbL. And when looking back at MbL's resources, he is not quite there to click up to the Castle Age. He is building skirmishers, which will delay him slightly. He's obviously expecting more archers to be coming out nothing really too forceful yet from MbL. He has pushed in with this little drush. He is getting a few extra hits here or there, wasting time here or there with repairs, but hasn't really gotten much value out of it, other than killing that one archer at the beginning, which, of course, is very helpful, but not too crazy. And this berry bush looks like it's almost out, but MbL decides it's better off to run away. And a stable now, double archery range, stable. Is he going to be going for cavalry archers? Curious. But nonetheless, there are skirmishers in MbL's base, and he is now going to see that the Viper is clicked up to the next age. He is in the castle age. He is wanting to engage, get whatever value he can out of these militia. Can he get a Vil pick, actually? The wall in happens, but this death still occurs. Well worth it to be getting some lost HP. If you can take out another villager, that is fantastic. Oh, Viper just gets away, and cavalry archers are on the field. That will push back these militia, as MbL is just clicking up right now, and a knight is already on the field for the Viper. So suddenly, there is an army of skirmishers fighting against knights and cavalry archers. A couple of knights can take out this entire army at this point in time. So weak against cavalry, especially the heavy cavalry of knights. Skirmishers will be able to hold their own against the cavalry archers, but the cavalry archers won't be able to do too much. Take a look at the fog of war. The Viper did scout earlier that this was being walled off, hoping that it isn't finished. And if he attacks somewhere down here, there is nothing that MbL can do to wall up behind this. He will be able to break through fairly quickly here. MbL only 70% of the way up to the next age. He has skirmishers. He needs something to respond to these knights, and that something needs to be pikemen, because he has no other option at this point in time. A panic tower going up on the gold that will make it up just in time. Skirmishers not yet enough of a mass, and look at how quickly these knights can engage. Luckily that tower gets the free upgrade. Being Koreans, that is so helpful, but skirmishers gonna drop like flies against these knights. Without this being a guard tower, those knights would have been able to clean up most likely this entire army. And in the meantime, there are cavalry archers sitting on the wood line, just bothering as much as possible. Cleaned up in the back of MbL's base. There is a spearman now on the field, but spearmen against cavalry archers, they can just run away and hit. We do have a forward siege workshop now from the Viper, as he is one villager behind. Not too much of a difference economically, however there's been a lot of wasted time when it comes to MbL's economy. Now though, elite skirmishers able to fight back these cavalry archers, but the difficulty with cavalry archers is they can run, hit here, and then run around to the other side, hit this wood line. There is no wood line right now that is safe for MbL to collect from. Not an ideal situation to be building a tower right here. That is a horrible location for a tower, but it is necessary at this point in time in order to get some form of protection on a wood line. He needs a wood line desperately. This one's not safe. There's a mangonel up front. There is nothing he can do to fight that back. And skirmishers, will they be able to engage against this mangonel? Likely not. There is nothing at this point in time that MbL has to fight against the mangonels. Great attack ground there from the Viper. And it's looking pretty close to being the end if he can't get some tower defense up right now. The one good thing about these guard towers, they do outrange the mangonels. So getting this guard tower up, he will be able to get a few free hits in on the mangonels, but they can just loop around and go to the other side, still take out the town center. As another guard tower is going up, we'll have to jump in and out of the town center repetitively in order to make sure that he stays alive, and this is getting more and more dangerous as we continue. The economy has been just in shambles from the beginning of Castle Age onwards. The beginning of Viper's Castle Age, that is. And Viper now solidifying his position. He knows he's ahead militarily. He is now going to get ahead economically with that other town center being built. But MbL, 2 guard towers, that is difficult to engage against, even with the weakened town center. These mangonels are not able to engage. But Viper letting his foot off the gas just a little bit as he booms up, trying to get a bit of an advantage out of his 2 town center boom, now dropping his 3rd. When we look at MbL, still just the 1 town center, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to build a 2nd one anytime soon. All of his stone is going into guard towers at this point in time. But these guard towers are going to be less and less effective as the game goes on, as they will protect the main base, but it will not protect this external gold, stone, or any of the wood lines once the wood lines, the 2 initial ones, are used up. Not too much gold left. Stone is running out. But these towers, the strength of the Koreans is in their towers. And I would love to see a town center elsewhere for MbL. But I don't believe he's got it in him at this point in time. Just too much army. These skirmishers cannot engage against the mangonels. They are very strong against the cavalry archers, obviously, but not able to engage very well. And the lead is going to only grow for the Viper. He was 1 villager behind. He is now 1 villager ahead. And let's see exactly what comes of this, as there is a switch into archers. Crossbows will be coming forward for MbL. Crossbows obviously a little bit stronger against the mangonels, a little bit weaker against the cavalry archers, but crossbows are very strong altogether. Not too many archers out on the field yet, as we see a university getting dropped. Ballistics will be coming in shortly, and there's now a 3 villager lead for the Viper. That's just going to grow and grow and grow as the first knight gets attacked. Now Viper knows that MbL is coming forward with some sort of army. He also knows that these mangonels can cut off the retreat. MbL in a position where he doesn't want to get caught off guard. He is retreating. What will he do against these mangonels? He does see them. He is thinking of engaging. But what is the call? So difficult to micro against 2 mangonels, especially with that many skirmishers in the army. They have the exact same range at this point in time. Ballistics is coming in, has to delete a house in order to get safely behind the wood line. That house not being too important at this point in time, now that the university is there anyways. Ballistics now is coming in. A villager goes down. 3 more villagers go down. That might just be the killing blow from the Viper, as he now has a 15 villager lead, and he is able to produce. No trouble at all. He is even collecting up the relics and getting more and more of an economic advantage as the game goes on. Still the 3 town centers that he started with, and he has now added in a 4th, and still just the 1 for MbL, which is great when you are pushing, but at this point in time he is falling further and further behind, and his military is not yet sufficient to hold off. But he is going to drop this castle here. Will that castle be able to get dropped? These knights just so devastating against skirmishers. Luckily there were a couple crossbows involved. The crossbows will need to take out villagers, But this knight, just one knight remaining, able to do so much damage against these skirmishers. This castle will be denied. MbL unable to get the castle up at this point in time. This castle of the Viper goes up. The MbL's castle, 93. He is trying desperately to get it up. 97, 98, 99% of the way up, and the GG is called. That was a Hail Mary, last-ditch effort, and MbL was just unable to get it up fast enough. Just 2 more villagers, or just a little bit of a different attack on that knight, and that castle would have gone up for sure. Might have been taken down immediately from the castle of the Viper, but nonetheless, great game.